What's going on, everyone? I'm Chase, and this is my review of Together. Now, this one is from Bleecker Street. It is directed by Stephen Daldry and Justin Martin, and this one tells the story of a husband and wife played by James McAvoy and Sharon Horgan, and they are forced to reevaluate themselves and their relationship through the reality of the COVID-19 lockdown. So, yes, it takes place all inside of a house with these two as the months progress. Throughout the pandemic, at the very, very start of it, and then when the vaccines start rolling out, we kind of get into their headspace and what they're just feeling. And it is sometimes beautiful, it is sometimes ugly, and I think that is what we all experience during lockdown. So, going into this, I didn't even know this was put together. And if you go to the trivia of IMDb, it says it was shot in 10 days. I believe it. Not really a lot of settings inside of the house. Kitchen, living room, observatory, front doorway area. Like it's just, there's not that a lot of places to go to in this film, which makes sense as to why they shot it so quickly. But I had no idea like what it was gonna be like in terms of tone, the way it was shot, the way it was put together. Didn't see a trailer. I just wanted to jump into it because I like James McAvoy, and I wanted to see like how far this movie could push it in terms of just the performances and like the script, because it seems like it's gonna be really reliant on those two things, right? So I saw the movie and I liked it quite a bit. I was pleasantly surprised. It came out of left field and socked me in the face and was like, "Hey, I'm here," and I was like, "Yeah, you are." So I didn't even think the film was going to be presented in the way it was. It was very unique. It stands out, and it's not just some throwaway movie that was made during lockdown in 10 days and put out to the public. It's like, no, there was actual thought behind this, and like it was really well executed from a directing standpoint, writing standpoint, cinematography, and performances. All of it just kind of came together cohesively, and it was just an interesting emotional experience for sure. But to get into the directing, I don't think I've ever seen this before, and if I have, it's been quite some time since I've seen a film executed this way. But there's fourth wall breaks, it's one take chunks, and it's traditional like over the shoulder two camera setup scenes. It's a mix of all three, and like I said, I don't think I've ever seen it played out that way before. It was almost also like a mix of like a stage play and like a film. Like once again, I thought it was just gonna be some throwaway movie, not really a lot of thought put into it, but like it was actually elevated even higher than what I thought it was gonna be in that regard. So, with having this kind of vision of one take chunks, traditional two camera setup, and the fourth wall break, I think what the directors were going for is actually quite genius, because this is how we were all feeling during lockdown, and we're currently feeling during the pandemic, is the mental unrest and the uncertainty and just the panic, the fear, and the anxiety. And I think having it that way with like the one takes and really feeling this anxiety of their conversations as it just takes you through this emotional roller coaster ride. And it's a beautiful relationship at points, it's ugly at points, and it just, your anxiety is going all over the place. And that's how people felt during the lockdown, and that's how I felt during lockdown. I could totally relate to that. When the fourth wall broke or break, or I guess I don't know what the correct term would that be in that. Anyways, when they broke the fourth wall, I also understood that they're telling us as the audience, like, hey, this is what's going on. Because I felt the loneliness, I felt the isolation that people feel during lockdown, and having them kind of talk to us is kind of how I felt during lockdown. When I was at home that whole time, and like it was just my wife and I, and like we didn't really have a lot of people to talk to, it did feel alone sometimes. It felt like this isolation was just like clouding in on top of us, and we couldn't express our emotions or our feelings to people. And I think having them express that to us in real time of the lockdown, I totally get it. And it just makes sense from a filmmaking perspective. And so I enjoyed it on that front as well. And then, it's like I said, it just keeps it stacks on top of each other, and it's just really genius how they put it together. And then with the over the shoulder camera setups, the traditional, just back and forth, it's not a one take. It's not breaking the fourth wall. When it switches the scene to that structure, they're talking to each other. And it's really intimate. It's really emotional for these two people of what they're discussing in that moment. And it's almost like we shouldn't even be there. And it's like, they're having this like really touching conversation either about death or marriage or just life. And it's really beautiful to witness when they have these scenes where they're just talking back and forth, and it's not a one take, it's not a fourth. It's like, it gives them a time to slow down in the scene, breathe, and really just swell up the room with emotion. And it really does feel like an intimate conversation. So the film was working on 3 different levels that way, and it's amazing. I love this, the way it was directed. And on top of all that, the cinematography is fluid. Like, it's not easy to do one takes, especially when you're cramped up in a little house like that. I don't know if that was a set that was built. I don't know whose house that is. But just staging everything like that and moving swiftly with the characters and, having them talk in one area for a little bit, having them move and the camera move with them and you walk into another area for a little bit. That's really fluid camera work. So the cinematography and the directing is just so synchronized. It was just really amazing to watch. And I just love the way it was structured with the one takes, the fourth wall breaks, and the intimate conversations with the normal camera setup. And then the next kind of pairing that worked really well together is the writing and the acting. This script is airtight. It's rapid fire. It's engaging. It goes in places that you don't think it's going to go. And it feels like this just natural dialogue and conversation that people would have as a married couple in lockdown. It felt just organic, and I really appreciated that. But what really elevates this script are the performances. James McAvoy and Sharon Horgan, they're fantastic together. They have that kind of relationship where you feel like they've been together for quite some time. They have weathered through many, many storms, but deep down, they love each other quite a bit. And yes, there's a lot of friction between them in the movie. But I felt that underlying love that they share. It's just really hard for them to express it, especially when you're going through a lockdown and a pandemic, and you, like I said, your anxiety is going through the roof. It's hard to express that in the moment when you're thinking about the world and like what's happening outside the house while also dealing with the things inside of your own home. It's just complex performances as well, but really engaging stuff. And when they're talking to us and the fourth wall breaks, they were very likable. They were very loving and friendly. And then just having them in normal conversation, you were just kind of on edge because you didn't know what they were going to say to each other. You didn't know if this was going to have a blow up or if this was going to be a endearing conversation. And then when they got to the intimate conversations, that's when it was really like just heartfelt. And just it really kind of just hits you right in the heartstrings. And I really enjoyed, like I said, the roller coaster that they took us on, with the script and their performances just elevating that. So I think that is the second pairing that this film offers. So there's a lot of things going on, but when it comes together, pun intended, it is just a nice little movie, and I like it. And I wouldn't mind watching it again, just to examine it on a filmmaking perspective, and maybe even show someone when they ask in the future, "Hey, what was lockdown like? What was COVID like in the beginning?" I'll just play this movie as like a recap for the past year and a half. Boom, there you go. But yeah, I don't know what else more to say about it. It is something, and it caught me off guard. Just don't watch any trailers. Just go into it blind, and I think you will be pleasantly surprised. Like I said, if you're into stage plays, because it feels like a play sometimes, with them expressing their feelings to the audience and all that stuff, and then also a film at the same time. Like, it's an interesting little cauldron of many things, but I thought it worked. So I like Together. Let me know down below what you thought of the movie, whether you liked it, you loved it, you hated it. Just please let me know. And then that will do it for this review, guys. I'm Chase Lee, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.